This is VOA News. I'm Laurel Bowman. Russia's Wagner Group mercenaries face uncertainty after the presumed death of their leader in a plane crash. AP correspondent Charles de Ledesma reports.
The group's presence extends from the ancient battlegrounds of Syria to the deserts of sub-Saharan Africa, projecting the Kremlin's global influence with mercenaries accused of using brute force and profiting from seized mineral riches. But that was under Yevgeny Prigozhin, who, in what may have been his final recruitment video, boasted that Wagner was making Russia even greater on all continents and Africa even more free. The crash has raised questions about the future of Prigozhin's private army, which fought alongside Russian troops in Ukraine before his brief uprising against military leaders in Moscow. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
Thousands of Americans converge on Washington, D.C. Saturday to commemorate the 60th anniversary of the March on Washington, which was a pivotal event in the 1960s U.S. Civil Rights Movement, at which Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. gave his galvanizing I Have a Dream speech. Bernice King, daughter of Martin Luther King Jr., says some young activists today, though, overlook the contributions of civil rights workers of her father's era.
Unfortunately, we're living in a time when there's a younger generation who believes that my daddy's generation and those of us that came after didn't get enough done. And I want them to understand, wait a minute, you are benefiting.
Some Gabonese voters encountered delays on Saturday as they took part in presidential, legislative, and local elections that the opposition hopes will foil the current president's bid for a third term and end his family's decades-long grip on power. This is VOA News. A senior European Union official urged Russia on Saturday to renew a grain deal to allow the safe export of Ukrainian grain through Black Sea ports after Russia quit the agreement last month. The official said restrictions on shipping of Ukrainian grains via the Black Sea were creating problems not only for Kyiv, but for many developing countries. U.S. journalist Evan Gershkovich has appealed against the latest extension of his pre-trial detention in Moscow on spying charges that he denies. That's what Russian state media said Saturday. TASS news agency quoted a Moscow court as saying it had received the appeal from the defense team of the Wall Street Journal reporter. Islamic State extremists have almost doubled the territory they control in Mali in less than a year, and their al-Qaeda-linked rivals are also capitalizing on the deadlock and perceived weakness of armed groups that signed a 2015 peace agreement. Details from VOA's Tommy McNeil.
The report was circulated Friday by United Nations experts. The stalled implementation of the peace deal and sustained attacks on communities have offered the Islamic State group and al-Qaeda affiliates a chance to reenact the 2012 scenario. This is according to the report referencing a military coup that took place in March, with rebels in the north forming an Islamic State 2 months later. The panel said Mali's military rulers are watching the confrontation between the rival extremist groups from a distance. Tommy McNeil, VOA News.
One newborn's life was saved by a broad genetic test, and research suggests it could help millions of other babies. AP correspondent Julie Walker reports.
A recent study showed that tests for sick newborns that look at their full genetic blueprints are nearly twice as good at finding genetic problems as narrower, more commonly used tests. That's according to the research published in the Journal of the American Medical Association. The broader tests found 49% of genetic abnormalities compared with 27% for the narrower tests. Experts say this offers hope to parents of millions of babies with confounding conditions. Whole genome testing found a rare bleeding disorder in Bryn Schulte of Cincinnati. Her parents say the early diagnosis and quick treatment saved her life. I'm Julie Walker.
For more stories, check us out online at voanews.com. You can also follow the Voice of America on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I'm Laurel Bowman for VOA News.
Thank you for watching. Can you do me a favor? Please leave a comment in the comments section below. That would really help. Thank you, and see you again soon.